Hi everyone, solving a question 3 raised to the power of x minus 3 equals to 19. Then 3 raised to the power of x plus 1 is going to be equal to what? 3 raised to the power of x minus 3 equals to 19. At this point, I'm going to need a certain index rule to be applied to this left hand side of my equation. And the rule says if I have a raised to the power of m minus n, this is just the same thing if I say a raised to the power of m divided by the same base a raised to the power of n. What should be observed here is that this left hand side of this rule is just the same thing as the left hand side of my equation. They are just of the same format. All what I need is just to write the right hand side of this my equation. And if I'm going to write right hand side of this, so I'm going to have 3 raised to the power of x divided by another 3 which is of the same base, then raised to the power of 3. Also, the last time I checked, the equal sign is still here, then the figure 19 is still present here. And the only thing that just happened is that I try to rewrite this my left hand side in this way. Of course, I'm not done rewriting. I'm still going to rewrite this as 3 raised to the power of x, then over 3 raised to the power of 3. Then the equal sign is still there, having some nice time. Then I write 19 because this my left hand side is in form of fraction. So just to make 19 appear in a fraction, so what am I going to do? I'm going to say divided by 1. And the best thing to do from here is just to cross multiply, and I'm going to say this 3 raised to the power of 3 is going to go for 19, then this 3 raised to the power of x is going to multiply 1. This results into 3 raised to the power of x multiplied by 1 equals to 3 raised to the power of 3 multiplied by 19. So I'm going to say 3 raised to the power of x multiplied by 1, that's going to give me 3 raised to the power of s, then equals to 3 raised to the power of 3, that's going to be 27, and multiplied by 19. If I multiply 27 by 19, this is going to give me 513. That is what my 3 raised to the power of x equals to. However, don't forget this is not my final answer, because what the question is saying that I should find the value of 3 raised to the power of x plus 1. All what I've just gotten here is just 3 raised to the power of x. Now focusing on the actual question, I'm going to write 3 raised to the power of x plus 1 equals to what this rule says, that is a to the power of m plus n. This is going to be written as a raised to the power of m, then this time around multiplied by the same base a to the power of n. I can see that this format is exactly what I have here, so I'm going to need to write the right hand side, which is 3 raised to the power of x multiplied by 3 raised to the power of 1. So at this point, my 3 raised to the power of x plus 1 is now going to be equal to 3 raised to the power of x is already given to be 513 here, because 3 raised to the power of x here is 530. So instead of repeating this 3 raised to the power of x, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to write 513 here. I have 513 multiplied by this 3 raised to the power of 1. By multiplying this, I have 1539. So this is the value of my 3 raised to the power of x plus 1, which is what the question says I should find from the beginning here. Keep on loving mathematics, but just before you go, just don't forget to do this, and do this.